Steve O'Donnell among the NASCAR officials here at the R&D Center today who unveiled the 2019 rules package. Steve, I think the big takeaway is the horsepower is going to be about 550 next year, down from this season. Tell us what the objective of that is and how do you think it will impact the racing?
Yeah, I think overall we looked at the combination between horsepower and the aero package. And if you look back at the All-Star race, fans loved, but one of the takeaways from the drivers was more on throttle time and what could we do to make an adjustment. So we did that. We went up from 400 to 550. We matched that up in terms of the aero package. I think it's a good fit for where Goodyear can be to develop tires, and ultimately ended up in a really good spot for those tracks.
And as you look at this, Steve, why would you make the change? Because you guys have had a lot of good races lately: Bristol, Las Vegas, the Roval, Indianapolis. Why make the change now for 2019?
Great question. I think we're always looking to improve, and one of the things you look at is not just next year, but where do we want to go in the future, and how do we do that? This package was one that, as you looked at kind of quarter entry speeds, and we've got some of the best engineers in the world who work on the current package. Those speeds have gotten higher and higher. It makes it more difficult to develop a tire around that package. The racing groove tends to get narrower as well. So one of the things we wanted to look to do was really put it back in the driver's hands. The foundation of NASCAR is that the drivers and the cars are the stars. We want to get back to that, get a little bit out of the wind tunnel and back to the racetrack.
How is this decision arrived at, Steve? Because initially I think you guys were looking at potentially using this package at specific races, and now as it turns out, you guys are going to have one package for virtually a whole year. There'll be a little bit of adjustable type format. How did you guys arrive at that decision?
Yeah, probably the most collaborative process since I've been at NASCAR, in terms of over 2 years talking to the OEMs, the team owners, the engine builders, Goodyear, trying to get to the most efficient package, but also what we thought would be the best from a side-by-side racing perspective at track. And as we talked and beat some things up about the number of races, we landed on as many as possible in terms of really putting our best foot forward in a package that we all believed in, created some efficiencies certainly for the industry as well, but I think most importantly set us up for the future in terms of that Gen 7 direction we want to go to, and see how that plays out on the racetrack.
You mentioned driver input, Steve. Some drivers have expressed some reservations about how much input they would have into a package with less horsepower. What do you anticipate the reaction will be specifically from drivers, and how would you answer those concerns? Yeah,
I think we're going to have to see how it plays out, right? And drivers have their opinions, and that's a loud voice in our industry, which we understand. So in this case, I think we've listened. We've tried to make some adjustments as far as where we were with the All-Star race and where we're going in terms of where we ultimately landed on this package. But I think the drivers recognize that we're doing something for the future of the sport, and the ones I've talked to want to see how it plays out and are kind of wait and see.
All right, well, we'll be wait and see for next year here as well. We got a glimpse of the future. 2019 rules package announced here by NASCAR at the R&D Center today.